Hello, it's me, Jisku. I have this replay of the new standard map, Unfathomed Force, between Cyberion and NobodyG00d. Initially, I was going to do a different game between P0.32451 and who was the other one? Shale? Something like that. But it lasted 4 turns, which wasn't enough. So, found this, it's a little bit longer. 10 days. I've already taken a look at this replay. It is a little short. I feel that one player gives up a little too soon, but I've already addressed that. So, I really do like Cyberion's opening, so I want to take a look at that. This is a new map. It's mirrored in an interesting horizontal way. I like it a lot because of like the base race aspects. It looks really cool where like you know these two bases have to get to the player 2 HQ on the left side, and the player 2 bases on the left side have to get to the player 1 HQ on the right. So early on, player 1 has to make a choice on whether they want to go for the aggressive side, which is the north-south side, or the defensive side, which is the east-west side first. And I believe that Cyberion chooses to go the defensive route, yeah. First entry that he sends to the airport is the bottom one. Player 2 doesn't have to make that choice because they have 2 starting infantry. It's interesting that most maps have player 2 start with 1 infantry and player 1 start with 0, but this one has player 2 start with 2 infantry, player 1 start with just 1. Which is a really good FTA counter. Makes a lot of sense. So you can see that Cyberion player 1 has this defensive side being ready to cap, and then NobodyG00d on player 2 has both airports capping at the same time. So NobodyG00d, big fan of artillery, very smart with using them. It does use this really well this game. Builds an artillery first. Cyberion last turn could have built a tank, but opted not to, because this turn they build a B-copter, a very early B-copter. So I thought that was really neat. And then they have enough to do this again on the opposite side this turn. So they start with 2 B-copters. This is also really interesting. So NobodyG00d sees this B-copter, and rather than building an infantry and an anti-air, they opt for an infantry and a B-copter, and NobodyG00d just skips building this turn on this base, which I just thought was fascinating. You don't normally see players skip base builds. Almost always you're going to see infantry coming out, and especially in base light maps like this one. It seems really important to build from bases every turn, but NobodyG00d, they value this B-copter more than a second infantry. And so, yep, this north side, Cyberion is building another B-copter from, so there's 2 B-copters. And this turn, NobodyG00d effectively can't build this B-copter because they'd leave both of the bases unproduced. Would not be acceptable. This turn is likely going to be an anti-air and an infantry. So here's some really good artillery placement. Both this cap and this interrupt are unsafe from this being protected by this artillery. That's super good placement. These infantry also protect the artillery from the B-copter approach. I wonder if both of these infantry attack this, if the B-copter could drive up to the artillery and hit it. It might. I don't know if that's worth it, but especially since this B-copter would get the counterattack. But then I don't know. Be an interesting idea. The no motion from this infantry is also really interesting to me. Just leaving it on the road. So this AA gun can move all over the place. The center of this map is really open with just mostly one movement tiles except for these two forests here. But on the sides, these corners, these mountains make moving these copters around really strong. This infantry can retreat and this copter can sit on the city and counterattack. That's really difficult for an AA to deal with. You basically need two because they can't traverse the mountains and forests to get to the other side. One or the other side will be left open with just one AA gun. And here, Cyberion pulls back, not to the HQ, which I thought was curious, but does pull this infantry back and will make this counterattack by putting the copter on the city. Massive counterattack from that B-copter. So it really does feel like this copter is, this two copter start is really paying off, even though the anti-air is still out. This copter is zoning out a huge space. Nothing can feel comfortable moving in here. Nothing super interesting this turn. Second battle copter coming out from NobodyG00d. This V-copter is going to have to retreat to the other side of the mountains to avoid persecution from this AA gun. Cyberion's got a huge amount of funds saved up. Definitely needs to buy another tank to deal with the AA that's coming out from NobodyG00d, but in fact, we know that this replay, I spoiled it a little bit earlier, was 10 days long, so coming to an end. Someone's going to make a big chegg soon. And this is the big chegg, is moving this B-copter here. He could have moved it onto this forest. Either one of these forests would have been a fine location for it, but unfortunately this AA gun has a path straight to this B-copter and destroys it. And by the end of this turn, Cyberion feels that losing that was just a sufficient reason to resign. It's unfortunate. I feel like it was a little bit of a premature surrender, especially with the fact that he's got a city lead, and he had been able to produce some big stuff last turn, the AA gun and the regular tank. Um, Again, fantastic positioning on this artillery from NobodyG00d. Can't counterattack this AA particularly safely. Um, so this copter was probably dead next turn. You could maybe have moved this artillery like back here onto this city, and then you would have been able, or back onto this road here rather, and then tried to counterattack the AA as it came to hit the copter. But still not really favorable trades going on. Like I said, it feels like a little bit of an early surrender, but still, I really do like Cyberion's opening. The early coppers seemed really effective. I would have liked for this to play out just a little bit longer. Cyberion had the potential to try to trap this. Had the potential to trap this B-copter in, would have been a really big deal. It didn't have like a plethora of ways to do it. It kind of did. Had opportunities because you could have moved this onto the. Well, I don't know. He could have worked something out. Almost certainly, I think he could have worked something out. It wasn't over, but I'm not here to criticize. Sort of. Well played. Over really soon. Kind of sad. I'm gonna go over some other replays since I've got some days off. Gonna be cranking out content. Thanks for for stopping by. As always, thanks to Walker for running the site. Thanks to our participants here, Cyberion and NobodyG00d. Thanks to you, the viewer, and see you guys in the next one.